Hey, what's up guys? I'm Mercy with DiscountLowVoltage.com, and today we're going to take a quick look at the Everfocus Hybrid DVR. This is the 8-channel. You have 4 analog ports and you have 4 HD 720 or 1080p outputs. So you got your high-def cameras and you got your analog cameras also. So we're going to take a look at the front, the rear, and we're going to hook it up to the LAN just so we can see what the software looks like and play with that area of the system itself. Now, this down here is the eCore, the 960 model. It's definitely a high quality DVR. It's not, you won't get HD, but we'll do this on a separate video. Let's just stick with the HD one. Okay, so on the left side of the DVR, you have your interface here. Now if you have the model with the DVD burner, you press the eject button and this bad boy would pop open, but you have 2 USBs here. One of them would be for the mouse, the other one would be for copying your footage. You want to go ahead and pop one of these bad boys in there, and it's a pretty easy process to put it on the thumb drive and then put it on your computer in case, you know, the cops or somebody shows up, you need to drag some footage off of there, no problem. So that's how you'll do it. We'll dig into that in a little bit, and let's check out the other side. This is the right side of the DVR, and this DVR does have a ton of features, but it's really nice how the interface makes everything very easy. This is the menu button right there. You want to go ahead and press that on the screen. It'll pop up, and then you want to go ahead and select what you want to do. You can do it by using the control panel, and there's also a couple other ways you can do that. You can also use the mouse that's included with the DVR. There we go. There's also a remote that's included. Makes life a little easier. You can do it that way also. Okay, so you got the back of the DVR, you got your power, you got your eSATA. Now, in case you want to, this DVR is available in a 2, a 4, and an 8 terabyte. If you need more than 8, they do have a disk array where you can daisy chain the 2, and that'll give you a lot more storage. Ethernet, your RS-232, these are your analog outs. You have your camera in, and you have your camera out in case there's a different array you want to display. But the HD does not have an out, so if you do need to run a monitor to a separate area, maybe like a public viewing monitor, in case of shoplifting, you want to make sure people are viewing that, you're going to be able to only do it through the analog ports. Output is VGA and HDMI. So here's a look at the cameras 5, 6, 7, and 8. This would be where your HD cameras get inputted. You have your alarm in, alarm out. You can also record audio for all 8 channels. You have your audio in 1 through 4. You have 2 audio outs only for the analog, and audio in 5 through 8 would be right here in this area. Okay, let's go ahead and plug it into the local area network. Alright, so we plugged the patch cord in. Now we're going to want to go to the network settings. Let's click this tool here, the configuration. And here we go. Now you'll notice the network type, it does say DHCP. That's the easiest way to set it up. It is recommended from the manufacturer to do the static IP route. Now Everfocus does offer free Ddns service, so that's something that's pretty cool that you're going to want to do in the long run and something to check out. If there is a power failure, the DHCP will reassign a new IP address, and all of a sudden you're thinking, why ain't I logging in? What's wrong with this thing? But that's the reason why. You'll have to redo the process, and you saw how easy it was, just plug in the patch cable, but long run it's just easier to get a static IP address. So we're going to go ahead and use this IP address that it gave us, and we're going to type that into my workstation. Okay, so we have the workstation here. I'm going to go ahead and type in the IP address of the DVR so we can view it through the local area network. Okay, there is of course, a password and a username. The default is always going to be admin, and then 8 number ones. So on the bottom here, this website wants to install the following add-on, e+dvr.cab for the, it's from Everfocus, so I'll go ahead and install it. Okay, so this is the user interface. When you go through the LAN, you have your 4 channels set up there, and you have your 4 HD, which is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, over here you have your colors that'll let you know easily on the screen what's going on at a quick glance. The Express setup here, if you have multiple users in different time zones, it's kind of nice just to have everybody be on the same page, and if you want to quickly glance at your recording type of setup. The cameras, you have your basic setting that you can play with. This is camera 1, so you have your resolution for the analog cameras as being 704 by 480. You can play with that. And you can change the resolution per channel, which is pretty nice. Maybe there's some areas where you want to record at a higher resolution. Some other areas may be lower, and that'll help extend the recording time on your DVR. You have your video adjustment. You'd be able to play with the brightness, contrast, and color for the cameras. Motion. You can also put the buzzer, email notify. It'll send you an email if something happens. Video loss. Record and play. Probably just want to leave it on record overwrite, so that way once the DVR gets filled, it just keeps going. Gets rid of the very oldest footage. Timestamp, you probably want that on. There is a built-in calculator where you can kind of, maybe get a feel for how long your DVR is going to record for. So maybe you have motion, alarm. It'll give you an estimate. The result is for reference only. Alarm and event. This is where you would set all that up. Schedule. The recording schedule, you can set that up either. They call this the Express setup, where it kind of makes it a little easier for you, but if you really want to nitpick it, you can go through the holidays. The schedule, really, maybe you have a business or a residence that you want to maybe move the hours around pretty good. And this is the alarm action. Network. The LAN. Email. Ddns. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You might want to just go ahead and, when you have time, check out the Everfocus DDNS. That is free. It's a pretty nice little service they offer to give you a static IP address. If you have an iPhone, there is an app, the Mobile Focus app for the DVR, so you can view over the phone. And if you have the non-iPhone, there is also a Mobile Focus app. You're going to want to go ahead and select MPEG instead of H.264. Disk. Let's see, locked format. Display. On the monitor, you can play with, the camera titles. Maybe you don't want to see that. Keep in mind the GUI is going to look a little bit different at the DVR itself on the screen at the DVR, so we'll check that out in a minute. The system, you have your date, time, user. Now, this is where you can set up different users, and you can also, I believe, set up to 3 different types of permissions for different users. So maybe you have one administrator that has all the bells and whistles, and you might have a user who you only want to, give certain permissions to. So you're going to want to go ahead and do that. And when you're viewing online, you can also, this DVR allows 10 users to simultaneously view online from a browser. This is the RS-485. This would be for the PTZ cameras. This is the protocols available. The PTZ is over here towards the very right. The controls are built in, so you can go ahead and do that remotely through the LAN. You can also do it on the DVR and via the mouse at the DVR and through the remote. Let's see, information. Standard copy. This would be where you make your copy. The unit we have does not have a burner. We have a USB. Remember, we have that USB plugged into the DVR. So you can go ahead and select, unselect what cameras you want to record, change the time. The quick archive, this would record the last 10 minutes. I think I have that one camera set up for motion only. There we go. While it's copying, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about some of the features this DVR has. The recording resolution can be changed at different times of the day via scheduling. That's kind of a cool feature. The pentaplex operation at the DVR and online allows you to view live footage, record, playback, archiving, and remote view everything without it interrupting one or the other. I think we talked about the free DDNS. And the PTZ controls are pretty nice. Quick copy, that's what we're doing right now. So you can instantly copy the last 10, 20, 30, 60, or 90 minutes via the USB. And there is one other thing I do want to mention that I think is pretty cool. This has dual stream control. So what that means is on the camera settings through the DVR, you can select a higher resolution while recording, but the second stream it'll be lower, so that way when you view online or over your mobile phone, you'll view everything a lot faster. It won't be choppy. So we have success, great success, and we have our search, event search, smart search, okay. Now that we have some footage recording to the USB, let's pull that USB out and pop it into the computer just so you guys can get a feel for what it looks like. Okay, so we plugged in our USB, and when you open it, the Everfocus does include a player that gets dumped in there, so you want to go ahead and click that. And this is what the player looks like. It's very easy. You want to go ahead and select the files. Looks like I have it set up to record motion, so it looks like there was 3 different files recently that were recorded. And there I am, kind of. Hopefully I don't do anything stupid. Stop. You can also fast forward, press play and fast forward it. Let's see, there's times 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. There it is. So you would just give this, you can give the thumb drive to the cops or whoever else needs the footage, or you can just dump it on their computer and keep your thumb drive. Now let's check out let's go back to the unit itself. Okay, so we're back at the DVR and using the mouse. And here's the GUI at the unit itself. Let me go ahead and zoom the lens in here, adjust it for you. There we go. So you got playback, PTZ, you have the layout, you have the channel. You can swap out the channels, move them around. You have your display. Let me zoom this out again. So your display, you can, oops, let's go back to where we were at. I guess while I'm here, you have different types of screenshots. You can move the setup, the display around a little bit, picture in picture. 4-box setup. Move it around so there's 2 big ones and 4 smaller ones. And there's quite a few other ones. Let's see, display. Press that button. I get rid of all that stuff if you don't want to see it on the screen. This also has a sequence built into it. You have your zoom. That's kind of interesting. Let's play with that here. Let's select a camera. So everything looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cute. Let's click zoom. And you can zoom in a little bit, or you can zoom in pretty good. That's probably more than, of course, it's not an actual, it's not the camera, it's not a PTZ camera. We have a fixed lens camera. So the DVR is actually using its capabilities to, you know, zoom that footage for you, so it will get a little distorted, but it still is a pretty cool feature to play with. And you can also have that option. I'll pull that up here with recorded footage. You have your copy set up here, your cameras. You can log out, and if you need to dig more into it, there is the configuration here that brings up the main menu display. And you're back at where you have all your bells and whistles to go ahead and do everything you really need to do with this DVR. Let's try to dig out some footage here quickly. Okay, so I do want to mention that as we're rolling through footage here, there is also a zoom button. I think I brought that up, but you can move the zoom around. So it's sort of like having a PTZ, but of course it's the DVR unit doing the zoom, not the camera. So there it is. You have your HD DVR 4HD 4 analog. It's got a lot of cool features. The GUI is pretty easy to play with, and you should be up and running in no time. Another thing I do want to mention, the footage and the feedback from the contractor customers has been really good after seeing the quality of the HD cameras. Of course, 1080p, 720. That's the only route they want to go. If you are a contractor who does this for a living, you might want to visit your previous sales of traditional analog systems and maybe offer this as a upgrade solution, because you don't have to upgrade their wiring. You can still use your old coax RG59 cabling, which is pretty cool. Just upgrade and update the system, DVR, and cameras. So you can order online. Check us out. Questions? Let us know. Comment below on the YouTube channel. Thank you. Subscribe. DiscountLowVoltage.com. Bye.